Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, episodes 25, The Master, and 26, Black. So, there's a lot to talk about here. We got a 2-episode finale for Core 2 of Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War. It may not have ended where most of us thought it was going to end. It may not even have ended the way we all kind of assumed it was going to end. I think there's a lot of surprises in both of these episodes. Now, for those keeping track with the manga, they're not adapting too many chapters, but I will say this: both of these episodes we end at chapter 609 of the manga. That's kind of where we leave off. There's a lot of new anime exclusive footage. There's a lot of shuffling around of things from different chapters, so the best I can do is tell you that chapter 609 is kind of where we are at the moment. So let's get into it. We're gonna go into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episodes, go watch the episodes. What's wrong with you? Go watch the episodes. They are outstanding. Like, overall, both of these episodes were fantastic. Like, I was glued to my seat for like the whole 45, 50 minutes that I was there getting through the whole thing. I did skip both of the openings this time around, so I will say that because I was just kind of ready to get into it. So yeah, let's dive in. So we pick up with Urahara and the Vizards preparing to go to the Soul Palace. We know that Ichigo and the gang has already kind of gone ahead, and then we meet Yoshiro, who is Jorichi's sibling, which is really cool. Like, I completely forgot about that aspect of it. We are so deep into the manga that this is the part where I really hadn't read it over and over, like while waiting for it to finish. So like, especially because they're also doing so many things to change things around, that this is for the most part unexplored territory. There's a few things between the fight between Ichibe and Yuhawatch that I still kind of remember, like the big moments. But a lot of this other stuff, I mean, not only is some of this stuff anime exclusive, like a lot of this stuff's been shuffled around so much, or it was so minuscule in the manga that they've expanded it a little bit here. They removed it around, so it really has a bigger impact. So, big scheme of things here in the Soul Palace, we see Yuhabach facing off against Ichibe where we left off last week. We also have Zero Division, who are now facing off against Hashira and Udio. So we finally get to see Hashira's ability of balance, which is really cool. It destroys the cage that they're kind of trapped in. And then we see Senjomaru attack Udio. Senjomaru plays a pivotal role in these 2 episodes, by the way. If you liked her before, you're going to love what they're doing here. Like, they really put her over very well. So yeah, we see the fight against Udio. Something really cool in the anime, like the blood vein power, where they use that as a shield. It looks great. I think that's one of my favorite parts. A lot of the Quincy powers, they have been animated in such a fantastic fashion. So we got a good flow of events as well. I think we're moving around very quickly. But these fights are so much fun. Like, I could spend just a whole video talking about each of the specific fights. But yeah, Sinjamara probably expanded up new abilities, new little things. I love the way she has that thing when she's fighting Udio, that she makes an umbrella and kind of stops the Reishi, like, that he's shooting at her, and then sends it back out. Like, just the creativity of all these powers for a lot of these things that we have never seen. So very cool stuff. So Zero Division kind of wins the first round of these fights. Uh, then we cut to probably one of the weirdest scenes that we will ever experience in Bleach. And this is an anime that has had a lot of fan service and weird things, and, like, like little pervy moments. But Giselle is very disturbingly, in a very weird fashion, in a very detailed animated scene, is drinking Bambietta's blood in God, very weird stuff. So, but it is kind of cool to catch up again with some of the Quincy that are still down at the Soul Society. It is at this point that things are gonna turn up a notch because obviously Yuhobach and his Quincy in the Soul Palace are at a big disadvantage. Ichigo's fight is not going well for Yuhobach. He keeps getting slapped around by those giant hands. Ichibe has made a seal, which also all the animation for each of his powers and the adaptation, it's really cool because his power of like with this giant pen and the ink, and it's all very visually stunning in the manga, but once it's brought to life in the anime, it just looks very cool. But to turn the tide, Yuhobach cast the Aswallen. Hopefully I said that right. Some of these powers are very difficult to pronounce. Uh, Big bright animation, just amazing stuff. Like this is some of my favorite stuff that has been animated. Probably my favorite animation happens later on in the next episode, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So this power, of course, it takes the power from all the Quincy below to not only power up Yuhovach, but also revive any Quincy that he deems necessary at the time. In this case, he revives his royal guard as well as Udio and Hashra, who had been defeated by the Zero Division. So this is kind of where we end the first episode, but there is an end credit scene. Really cool stuff, setting up stuff for the future that I do remember, of course. Century and Ukitake finally meet up. They have a little conversation about a ritual that has been completed by Captain Ukitake, who I'm very glad to see again. He's always, like, we'll get a lot of into his backstory, I think, in the next core. So that'll be fun to explore. And of course, Century is heading off to Central 46 to make some other preparations. If you've been keeping track since Core 1, you know where he's going and you know why he's going there. So stay tuned for that. I can't wait to see that next core. Then we begin the next episode. This is episode 26, titled Black. Now, according to the original, I don't know, leaks or whatever, they've changed the name of the episode to Black, and I think there appears to have been some production issues that maybe caused this episode to be a little bit shorter and not really end where we anticipated this to maybe end the fight with Ichibe and Yuhovach, but it doesn't happen that way. So, well, let's talk about it. First of all, we see the Royal Guard counterattack. They get up, they are back to life. They are powerful again. Their wings are out, like they are in full power. We get to see some really cool abilities from both them and the Zero Squad, the Zero Division. Like bringing Nimaya back to health after he gets shot by the X-axis. The X-axis is an I think, man, all the Royal Guard guys have like these really OP abilities, but Kubo just still found ways to. Well, Kubo and the staff that the everybody that's working on the anime, um, they found such interesting ways to kind of tie everything and make sure that the powers are level and that we get an interesting fight. But it looks very cool animation of Senjomaru patching up Nimaya to make sure that that hole that giant hole in his body is sealed away. So it does appear that the Zero Division is now losing this second round to the Royal Guard, which is really cool. We also go back to Yuhovach, who tries to steal Ichiba's power, like the power of the Black. Of course, we know that's not gonna work out the way he hopes. But we cut to probably the coolest sequence that we've had this core, maybe even in this whole Thousand Year Blood War arc. The Zero Division is about to make a comeback. They finally are about to unleash their true power. Senjomaru is picked to take out the enemies, and it's a pretty gruesome way to power up. So because their power is so extreme, they've sealed it away with their lives. So in order to unleash Senjumaru's full potential, everyone else in the Zero Division takes their own lives, and they activate her true power, which we get to see Senjumaru's true Bankai that is visually just a stunning feast. I like the themes of like this loom and the thread and the fabric, like just everything, like as far as her abilities go, are really cool to see. We also get to see some reactions from the world of the living because she mentions that the reason they don't utilize this full power is because it will shake down all the realms, including the human realm and all that. So we get to see some reactions from Ichigo's dad, Udio's dad. Like they're the ones that kind of feel this working, and they know that something big is happening. Yeah, and then the Bankai itself looks amazing. I don't even care that it's like mostly CGI. Like it's very well integrated into the animation of the episode. Oh, the way she takes out each one of the opponents, it really foreshadows a lot some of the fights that we'll see probably in the future. I don't know what I don't know how they're gonna make the changes and what changes are gonna stick, what things are gonna change, because I feel like one of the big things on the to do list was for Kubo to really put over the Zero Division and show us how powerful they really are. In the manga, they were kind of taken out off screen while Ichibe and Yuhibach were fighting. That was a fight that we were mainly focused on. And then later on, the Gote 13, everybody kind of gets up to the Soul Palace, whatever. I'm sure that'll happen later on in Core 2, 3, and 4. But yeah, like the Zero Division kind of went out like very unceremoniously, and I feel like the anime is adjusting and making some of those corrections, which is really really cool. So that's kind of where we are. The Zero Division is now back in control. Now, obviously, only Senjomaru is there because everyone else, took their own lives. But uh, back to Ichibe and Yuhovac. As Ichibe recovers his own power, he just takes it back, and he explains as he unleashes his Shikai. He explains the true power of the Black, which is he controls everything, all the black in the world. And then he uses his Sanpakuto to mark and rename his opponent. So he covers Yuhibach like in black ink, and he renames him Black Ant. He is now the king of the insects, he calls them. And we see those gigantic hands just slapping Yuhibach around. And that's kind of where we leave off. It's a pretty big cliffhanger, right? The fight's not over. We don't know what's going to happen. And then there's a 4-minute sequence at the end, which I was very happy to see. I think that's going to be a pretty divisive um, thing for the fandom, because the Shinigami Illustrated Guide segments were not everyone's favorite. I think not a lot of people, not like it's kind of split into how many people enjoy Bleach for both the cool action stuff and also the gag of it, like the fun moments, and like how sometimes it could be very like just not serious about things. But we get to see Kon back. He has his own segment. They recreate some of the moments that we omitted from the manga into the anime, but only like not really visually animated. It's just like little icons of the characters, and then the voice actors just kind of going over the lines from the manga. Really, like they were pretty much really reading from the manga. So, yeah, I didn't mind. I thought it was a really fun surprise. I always love seeing the little after credits scenes in Bleach. Very similar to like Blue Lock has the little things at the end that are supposed to be that are just funny. They're not really moving the story forward. Now this one was kind of long, especially since we left off. But I would rather the production staff take the proper time to adapt how they want to adapt things than to rush everything and maybe feel like because this is a big fight. Yuhobachi and Ichibe is a big fight, and it's a really interesting way that all the stuff gets resolved there. So I would rather them take their time and just I'll wait till 2024 so we can see it done properly. So very happy about the way this second core has wrapped up. I'm just seeing some incredible stuff that I would never thought would have seen adapted to the screen. So very cool stuff. I don't know what the Bleach coverage is gonna look like from now on. There's really not a lot to talk about once the anime is off the air. I tried to do that last time around, and there's just really not a lot of content to prepare. But I am gonna rewatch the season or the core in the dub. I'm really actually looking forward to that, which will allow me to also maybe focus more on the animation. So I might make some videos about just some of my favorite moments all throughout the replay as we kind of go back around. There's a lot of really good stuff, right? We have unveiling of many bankais, including Renji's, Rukia's. We get the return of Rukia's brother, whose name just escaped me at the moment. So yeah, very excited to cover all that stuff. Very excited to talk more about Bleach in the future. Um, Stay tuned. There's probably another video in the channel very soon about the little trailer that they played, like a little preview of Core 3. So I'll definitely be talking about that as well. And then, whatever comes up, let me know down in the comments. What did you think of this ending for Core 2? And what do you want to see from Bleach in the next couple of arcs that we have to kind of wrap things up for sure. So yeah, stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.